Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Beauty Shaman. So today I am very excited to talk to, again, Ben Fuchs. Thank you so much for joining me, Ben.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor always. I love talking to smart interviewers, and you are one of the smartest.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. Okay, you get brownie points for saying that.
And open-minded. And I love how open-minded you are, how you always want to hear new ideas.
Oh God, I love it. We were just talking before we started on the interview, and I'm like, well, there is no box. Like, what are people talking about being in the box? I'm like, there is no box. So today, let me do a proper, tell people who you are here, because we're just going to launch. I can tell this is going to be great. We're just going to go right into it. But I want to tell the audience, ladies, if you've never met Ben Fuchs, you're in for a treat. So Ben is the creator of the Truth Treatment skincare line, which is my very favorite skincare line. I now sell it on my website because this is I think it's so good. And I think of all time, I would have to say that. And I've tried a ton of lines, so that's saying a lot. But Ben is a chemist, a nutritionist, I have to write it down to remember it all, nutritionist, compounding pharmacist, researcher, and educator. And today we're going to talk about a new way of looking at the skin, says Ben. So I'm very excited to see kind of what this new way is and where you want to go with this.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction, by the way. And everything I do is about chemistry. To me, chemistry is the most interesting biological science. Now, there's a biological science that's even more fundamental than chemistry, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I find chemistry very interesting in the sense that chemistry is the study of how things go together. So when you and I are talking, you say that's chemistry.
Yeah.
When two people talk, they say it's chemistry, right? If you talk to each other, have good rapport, you say it's chemistry. When you're cooking, that's chemistry. Paint is chemistry. Herbalism is chemistry. Pharmacy is chemistry. Skincare is chemistry. Biology is chemistry.
Right.
There are all these ways.
And interject here that a lot of people don't realize that skincare is chemistry. Because I've received skincare, I've had people give me, oh, look at my new skincare line. And I'll look at it and I'm like, I could brew this. With the knowledge I have, I could go, this is not skincare. This is a bunch of products thrown together. So you're talking about an advanced form of what we need, right? That you can brewing in your sink is not going to do anti-aging, right? So go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. The fact that we're chemically illiterate allows us to become fodder for marketers and for people who don't understand skincare and the feel-good kind of sensation that we look for when we buy skincare products, because we don't really understand the chemistry of the body, the skin, or the chemistry of products. But here's what I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
There's something even more foundational than chemistry. Chemistry only works because of electricity. Electricity is foundational to chemistry. And the more foundational or the more basic your area of expertise, the more leverage you have. So if you're trying to pick up a pyramid that is wide at the base and gets narrow and narrow at the top, and you want to be able to pick it up the easiest, you pick it up from the bottom. You get more leverage from the bottom than if you did from the sides, from the middle of the pyramid. Leverage always occurs at the most foundational, fundamental levels. So chemistry is a foundational level, but it's not the most foundational level. If you really want to maximize or leverage skincare products, or if you want to leverage the inherent healthy biochemistry of the skin, you have to understand the electrical nature of the skin and the electrical nature of skincare products. And this is something that nobody's ever talked about before, even though we have understood the electrical nature of healing for a good maybe 80 or 90 years, since the work of Dr. Robert Becker specifically. But even before that, probably, Dr. Becker wrote a book in the 1980s called The Electric Body. And what he noticed was, do you know the book I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, and I just want to interject to the audience. If the audience is like, wait, what are you talking about? Electricity and skincare and the body? For some people, this is a very unknown thing. But I would like to interject and say, because I deal with and I do the makeup on a lot of healers and people who are really into this sort of thing, this is actually the kind of future, thank God, of health.
Yes.
And health is your skin. Skin's the largest organ in your body. This is the future. So I think it's so important that we have this conversation because this is
the cutting edge.
Yourself. Yes, it's educating yourself on on how to really care for your body, which isn't kind of the medical model, right? We're looking at a different model. So go ahead with that. Yeah.
You understand the electrical nature of the body. It'll give you much more power over your body and much more power over products to make the body better. When I say make the body better, I'm talking about the liver, I'm talking about the spleen, I'm talking about the heart, I'm talking about the brain, but I'm also talking about the skin. If we understand that the skin, like any other organ of the body, is made up of cells, that's what we're really talking about here is cells, and skin cells like heart cells or brain cells or liver cells or spleen cells or any of the other hundreds of cells in the body work electrically, and when they're damaged, the electrical nature of the cell is changed, and by driving electrical energy into the skin, you can heal the skin, or cells, I should say. You can heal cells, you can make cells more functional, and in terms of the skin, if you can figure out how to drive electrical energy into the skin, which is a very, very electrical system, you can facilitate all of the wonderful things we want in skincare products. But because we don't see it electrically, we are bamboozled by either the chemistry or by the feel of a skincare product. Whereas if we understood the electrical nature of the skin and products, we would be looking for skincare products that were electrically active. And those are the skincare products I've always formulated, but especially with our Truth skincare, with my Truth treatments, these are predominantly electrically active systems. And we use all kinds of various strategies for helping drive electrical energy into the skin. Now, when I talk about electrical energy, Suzanne, this is very, very important now, because people will think, oh, I know electricity, my lights, my computer, my fan, all the electrical things we have in our environment. I know what electricity is, but I'm not talking about that kind of electricity. I'm talking about quantum electricity. Now,
don't get huge. So I got to stop you because this is huge. All right. Quantum
electricity. Now, I don't want you to let me explain it, because that's kind of a weird word, and people.
No, it's a great word, and it is the word of that medicine is going towards, because they're like, we got to go into the quantum field because we've not been in the quantum field. Yes.
Quantum just means the smallest particle possible. Right. A quantum is the smallest particle possible. So we have electricity that runs our lights, and that's big electricity, macro electricity. But that macro electricity, if you zoomed in enough, and I'm talking about 1,000 trillion times smaller than electricity, what you see is pieces of electricity, quantum pieces of electricity. What do we call a quantum piece of electricity? Do you know? Yes, I know you know, but you never thought of it that way.
Go ahead. You're going to have to say it because I'm not sure. Go ahead.
It's called an electron.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
An electron, I knew you knew it, but nobody ever said it that way. An electron is a quantum piece of electricity. And when I talk about the quantum nature of electrical skincare, I'm talking about its electron nature. You want a skincare product that has an ability to deliver electrons. And there are certain ingredients that are more facile, have a better ability to deliver electrons than others. There are other ingredients that lock up electrons, that trap electrons, that keep them from being available. And guess what? The vast majority of skincare products contain lots of these ingredients that trap electrons, that block electrical energy. If you use our Truth treatments, what you'll notice is when you apply them, they have a different characteristic. They never feel heavy. They always feel kind of light, and they always will improve the healing of the skin. And this is the way you can tell that you're facilitating the movement of electrons or electrical energy into the skin, is you're going to get healing. When you drive electrons into damaged or aged, damage and aging are the same mechanisms. When you drive electrical energy into damaged or aged cells, those cells perform better. And so you always want to look for ingredients that have some kind of electrical movement, electrical lability, they say in electrical chemistry, the ability for these electrons to move. Now, for example, just to give you one example, one of my favorite electron delivery systems or ingredients that allow that facilitate the movement of electrons is minerals. This is one of the jobs of minerals. Not any minerals, minerals in solution. When a mineral dissolves in solution, its electrical energy becomes spread through the solution, and the solution acts as a delivery system. Do you know what we call minerals that are in solution that conduct electricity? I know you know this too. They're called electrolytes. You've heard the term electrolytes, right? Potassium, calcium, magnesium, sodium. These are all electrolytes. And they're said to be electrolytes because they dissolve in water. And when they go into water, the electrons that are around these minerals spread throughout the water, and the water acts as a delivery system for the electrolytes. And that's great. And electrolytes are great. But if you look at our Truth treatments, you're going to find polyelectrolytes. Not just electrolytes, polyelectrolytes. Many
Yes,
electrolytes.
many
Yes,
electrolytes.
yes, yes. An electrolyte carries an electrical charge and disperses it in solution when it's added to water for delivery. But a polyelectrolyte is a long chain of electrolytes, and this gives it remarkable and phenomenal health properties. The fact that it's a long chain of electrons, a long chain of electrical energy means it has a field around. Wherever you have electricity, you have a field. So this long chain of electrolytes, these polyelectrolyte chains, not only are electrical, but they have a cloud of electricity around them. And so when you put them on your skin, you're delivering this cloud of electricity to the skin, to the cells of the skin itself. But it's even better because the magnetic properties of this cloud of electrons, wherever you have electricity, you have magnetism. Electricity and magnetism go together. Okay, so wherever you have an electrical field, because you have these electrically charged polyelectrolytes and you have the cloud of energy that's surrounding it, this is, in effect, a long magnet. And this long magnet pulls in things and attracts things, specifically vitamins and amino acids and fats and plant nutrients. And in fact, these long polyelectrolyte compounds' role in nature is to feed plants. Polyelectrolytes are found in the soil. Right. And in the soil, what the magnetic field around these polyelectrolytes does the same thing that it does anywhere, and that is it pulls in other electrically active substances, and it acts like a delivery system for feeding plant cells. And this is how plants get nourished. In fact, if you're a farmer, you're going to sprinkle these polyelectrolytes on your soil, you'll have better plants. Okay. Now, the technical name for these polyelectrolyte complexes that are found in the soil, which, by the way, are made from bacteria. Bacteria eat the rock that is planet Earth. Earth is a rock, you know, right? Yeah, right. Essentially, a rock's like the moon. It's spinning around in space just like the moon is in space. But what makes the Earth different from the moon, it has a magical, very slender layer of electrically active substance on the top. We call that soil. So what makes the Earth not the moon is this soil. And what makes the soil is the action of bacteria on the rock. So the bacteria chew the rock up and spit out. Nobody knows how this is done, by the way. This is one of the most amazing biochemical processes in all of nature. These bacteria chew up the rock and excrete polyelectrolytes. And the soil is very rich in polyelectrolytes. Technically, the term for these polyelectrolyte complexes is humic acid, or humic acid complexes. But humic acid contains a bunch of different things. The active ingredient, the electrically active substance in humic acid, is called fulvic acid, or fulvic acid complexes when they're attached to vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients. And their job in nature is to magnetically attract all of these substances and go into the plants, activate the plant cell or ring the doorbell on the plant cell and deliver their payload inside a plant. And this is how plants get nourished, through the action of the fulvic mineral complexes, the vitamins, the minerals, and water. Water is also attracted to these fulvic mineral complexes. And these fulvic mineral complexes not only act as a source of electrical energy to help feed the cells and to help make the cells electrically viable, but it also acts as a source of nourishment of vitamins and minerals and amino acids. And it also acts as a source for water. Now, electrons also function as an antioxidant, so it stabilizes what's called the redox potential inside a cell as well. And it does this all for plant cells, but guess what? If you put it on your skin, it does the same thing for skin cells. And if you don't understand,
it makes perfect sense. And I was going to bring up soil earlier because I thought, this is all about the soil. Our skin is the soil, basically, around our body.
Skin is like a soil. Yes, absolutely.
And you see soil that's depleted. If you look out,
you'll have depleted plants. You'll have depleted plants. It was as if our skincare products today are the same thing as spray painting your rotting plants, right? It's like you have rotting plants and you only got some spray paint and you spray paint them green so they look really pretty and healthy. You say that's stupid, right? The plants are not healthy. They just got spray paint on top of them. That's what a moisturizer is. That's what most skincare products are. They're like spray painting your plants that don't have the nutrients that they need in their soil, if you will. So polyelectrolytes are phenomenally electrical, phenomenally magnetic, phenomenally hydrating, and they act as delivery systems for other active ingredients. So I use fulvic mineral complexes, for example, in my new hyaluronic hydrator. with high hyaluronic acid and with vitamin C. It acts as a delivery system for the high hyaluronic acid and the vitamin C, as well as you get the minerals and the electrons, the electrical activity, you get the oxygen and you get the water, you get everything in our high hyaluronic hydrator. We use these mineral complexes as bases for all of our products, so that all of our products at their very base, at their very foundation, are electrically active. We use it in our new exfoliator. It is made in this fulvic mineral or this polyelectrolyte base. Our biomimetic mineral mist is made in this polyelectrolyte base. So you're not just spraying a chemical on your skin, you're spraying electrons on your skin. You're spraying electrical activity on your skin. You're spraying magnetic reactions with other active ingredients so that it acts as a delivery aid. And this is the way I like to formulate. When I'm formulating a product, Suzanne, I want every molecule in my product to do something for your skin. I want to leverage every single particle in that product, which is why you use very little of my products. As you'll know, you just use a drop or 2 drops or a spray or 2 sprays, because every molecule in that formulation is doing something for your skin. Now,
yeah, I know you're going to go on. I want to point out that I've done a lot of research on different lines and different skincare. And not only that, but I'm really, you know me, I'm very into health and nutrition and nutrients and vitamins and all the things you're talking about, minerals. Those are the things that the body needs. So if the body needs it, of course the skin needs it. And a lot of, I've looked at a lot of skincare lines where they don't have a pharmacist. They're not in the, what do you call it, where you do your pharmacy work, where you...
The laboratory.
The lab. I don't know why that word just wasn't...
They're not in the lab.
Yeah, they don't have a lab. It's not even... They get somebody else to do it, and they put a lot of nice label on it. So it's important to do our homework, and I think this is such an important point for women now, is don't believe the lies. And so anyway, back to nutrition and this...
I call it... You know what I say? I say memes versus mechanisms.
Yes.
A meme is a belief. And you can tell you're dealing with a belief is if you look at it and it doesn't make any sense. So if you're looking at the meme of, oh, I have dry skin, I'm going to use a moisturizer. And you say, well, have I ever gotten my dry skin better by using a moisturizer? You say, no, that's never happened. You know you're dealing with a meme. A mechanism is what exactly is happening to make that ingredient make your skin better. What we're talking about here with electricity, this is mechanism. Scientists deal with mechanisms. We don't deal with memes. We deal with how something works, and this is why becoming an ingredient deck reader is so important, becoming a researcher is so important, understanding some of the basics. It's not rocket science, but understanding some of the basics of how the skin is put together is critical if you're not going to fall victim for memes. And memes can come through as slogans or as songs or as celebrity endorsements or as belief systems that you have yourself. So memes come in different guises. What you always want to ask is, what is the mechanism? And then see if you buy into the mechanism. And that's what we're talking about here today. Now, I talked about the polyelectrolytes, these fulvic mineral complexes that are extremely important. But here's another way that you can tell you have an electrically active skincare product. And this is really important because you alluded to something just a moment ago, although you didn't finish it up, but you kind of pointed to it. And that is the idea that if you are going to have an effective skincare product, it better have ingredients that your body can use if they were eating it, which is why vitamin C is so important, which is why the fulvic mineral complexes are so important, which is vitamins in general are so important, and amino acids are so important, because all of these have value when you ingest them as well as when you put them on topically. If an ingredient doesn't have value on both levels, it's not going to work. An active ingredient, if it's truly an active ingredient that's going to do something significant for your skin, will have the same activity if you eat it. You may have to eat it in a different form, but still, if you eat the same basic molecule, for example, vitamin C, you will get a benefit inside your body the same way you get a benefit on the outside of the body. And it just makes sense because the inside of the body is made of cells and the outside of the body is made with cells. So if an ingredient is going to help your cells, it's going to help your cells inside as well as outside. And if you look at my ingredient decks, and I always encourage people to use our ingredient, to read ingredient decks, especially ours, you will see all of the ingredients are not necessarily, they're natural, but they're better than natural in the sense that they have a home in your body. Natural's cool, okay? But poison ivy is natural. Okay?
That's a great way to put it. And I have with the word natural and organic as well. And I don't know if we've ever gone there. I have a beef with it, with food, with everything. And that is that just because it says natural doesn't mean that.
Correct.
You have to do your homework on it. Yes. And
Correct.
does it get in underneath the dermis and the skin? Does it work?
Does it work? Does the skin know what to do with it? Do the cells know what to do with it? In fact, I made up a word. Natural is, it's in the, it's in the dictionary, but it doesn't mean anything to me, because so what? Something's natural. First of all, what's natural? If you pick the berry off of the tree, it's not natural anymore. You picked it off of the tree. You cook it, it's not natural anymore. So nothing is natural. Everything is natural unless it comes from another planet or something. I don't know, another galaxy. So it's just a gibberish word. But what's relevant is a word I made up, which is biogenic. Has its genesis in biology, is in you, is part of your biosystem, is part of your chemistry. And if you look at all my ingredients, whenever I'm formulating, I am looking to see if that ingredient is familiar to your skin cells, familiar to your cells. Will your cells know what to do with this ingredient? That's why we use vitamin E. That's why we use vitamin C. That's why we use retinol. That's why we use esters. That's why we use pretty much fulvic minerals. That's why we use high hyaluronic acid and lactate and amino acids. And if you look at our ingredients, you'll see they're all relevant to the biosystem. A cell knows what to do with it, because at the end of the day, we're treating the cells. Skincare is only effective if it treats the cells, if it feeds the cells, if it nourishes the cells or electrifies the cells or somehow supports the activity of the cell. And to me, that is what makes Truth Treatments distinct in the marketplace, is we are always focusing on ingredients that are already in the body, that are already in you, that a cell knows what to do with.
Yes. And I love that. And I think that's probably the reason I love it so much, is that you're looking at the whole person, you're looking at the whole body. And there's this great phrase basically in hermetic literature, which is as above, so below. I love this phrase. I use it all the time mentally, because I feel like you can't say, oh, okay, this isn't going to, this doesn't get underneath the skin, but it's going to help. No. As above, so below. You have to integrate everything in order to have your skin heal. Yeah.
And you know what else? All this electricity stuff we're talking about?
Yes.
The electrical universe, right? It's like the universe is electrical. 99.99% of the universe is electrical. It's plasma. So if 99.99% of the macro world, the above world, is electrical, the body is the same way. As above, so below. The body is primarily an electrical system. The cells are primarily electrical. A sick cell has lost its electrical potential. A damaged cell is a cell, by the way, this is very interesting. When a cell is damaged, guess what happens? Its voltage becomes more negative. It has more pulling power. Negative voltage is pulling, positive voltage is pushing. So when we say something has a voltage, we mean it has a push, but when it has a negative voltage, it has a pull. So electrical cells have a negative voltage because they have to pull electrical energy in. If a cell has a positive voltage, it's not going to be healthy. It's not going to be able to pull electrical energy in. So cells always have a negative voltage. They have a pulling action rather than a pushing action, right? This pulling action inside a cell gets more dramatic when a cell is injured. And think about this as a layperson. If a cell has a negative voltage, you understand what I mean, it has a pulling action, why would it have more pulling action when it gets damaged?
I don't know.
What do you think?
Because
it needs more electrical energy to facilitate chemical reactions. Yeah. So when a cell is damaged, it loses voltage. It has more negative voltage and more pulling power. This is where the minerals come in. And as I didn't get to say this, but the vitamins are the same way. Vitamins, check this out, act as holding spots and switching stations for electrical energy. So if you have a vitamin, the electrical energy can flow more effectively. If you don't have a vitamin, the electrical energy can't flow. Vitamins are so important because they act as switching stations for the flow of electrical energy. Without vitamins, electricity doesn't flow. So vitamins temporarily carry electrical energy to facilitate the flow of electrons, and that's why they work perfectly in tandem with fulvic mineral and polyelectrolyte complexes, which is what we do with all our products. We combine vitamins with these polyelectrolyte complexes. The point I'm making is that a cell will take in more energy when it's aging and when it's damaged. So the more aging your skin is, or the more damaged your skin is, the more results you're going to get from an electrically active product, which is why all our Truth treatments can be used to accelerate healing of the skin, in addition to beautifying and improving the condition and the youthifying the skin, which is really the same mechanisms. Healing is beauty. So this ability that these minerals and these electrically active ingredients have to pull electrical energy in becomes maximized when a cell is damaged, like wounded after a peel, for example, or after a burn or a cut or a scrape, or when it's aged, which means the best thing you can put on skin that's broken or damaged or aged is electrically active substances. Your cells will suck them up like a dry sponge sucks up water.
This is it's so great. And I love it because it gives an explanation as to why you're doing what you're doing with the products and also how they work. And I think this is, I mean, obviously I'm really into women being educated and understanding things to the level that I'm not a chemist, I'm never going to be you, but I love this kind of knowledge. So we're out of time. So let's kind of close out here. What do you want women to leave with everything we said?
Healing is beauty. If your skincare product cannot accelerate the healing of a cut or a scrape, then it's not beautifying or youthifying. If you have ingredients in a skincare product that are not electrically active, waxes, for example, or preservatives, for example, what you're going to end up with is a product that is not only not going to facilitate healing, but is going to actually dampen or suppress electrical energy. So you want to look for things that your skin can use. You want to look for electrically active substances like fulvic minerals or polyelectrolytes or vitamins, and you want to look for healing in a skincare product. Healing is beauty, electricity is beauty, activity is beauty, and look no further than Truth Treatments if you want to find out that.
And there's the plug for Truth Treatments. But I mean, honestly, I obviously, if I didn't believe in it, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So thank you so much, Ben, for joining me today on The Beauty Shaman and sharing all of your wisdom, not all, but a lot of wisdom and knowledge here around your product.
Thank you.
And thank you, ladies, for watching The Beauty Shaman. Please check out my other interview with Ben Fuchs on the beauty industry. It's a really fabulous interview just about how the beauty industry, deceives and lies us and what we need to know about that. And also my review of his skincare line, my Truth Treatments product review. Thank you for watching The Beauty Shaman, and don't forget to subscribe.